I started doing the work 3 years ago to help myself get to a better place, and I did. And then I get here 3 years later and I find out there are still people who are doing things that break my heart. There are just a lot of views that I have that are very damaging, and I believe that the Lord can bring change out of it. I just want to show you all what that looks like. My hair is wet, not greasy. I don't really have a script for this video. I don't even really have an intro for it. Rude. I originally wanted my first YouTube video to be a vlog with my brothers. I wanted it to be us doing fun stuff that you guys wanted to see. I do want to do travel vlogs on here because I do travel a lot. I want to do challenges and just lots of real things that are like gives you a better insight into my life. Because I do have a TikTok that I have a lot of followers on, and people really love my scripted like spoken word poetry, excerpts from my novel, which I'm so grateful for. And then we have my Instagram, and I want to make that, you know, something that's very like vulnerable and real and refreshing. But as of recent, I haven't been doing a very good job at being vulnerable on my Instagram. And part of that is because I feel really guilty for the things that I've been actually feeling, and I don't feel like I can share those on social media because it makes me look like a terrible Christian example. One post that I actually put up a few weeks ago was titled, "I'm angry with God," and that was really difficult for me to post. It's something that I've been struggling with for a few months now, and in some ways it was refreshing to come forward and be like, this is why I haven't been doing a good job on Instagram recently. This is why I haven't been posting like all these encouraging, like God's amazing, God's this, God's that. And a lot of my audience was waiting for that and looking for that within my posts, and I felt like I had just let them down because I've been hurting through a lot of things. That post actually did really well, and I just got flooded with DMs from people letting me know like I feel this same way and I felt like a terrible Christian for it. So thank you for saying this, because it just reminds me that I'm human and that there is healing beyond this. One of my friends actually sent me the post and they said, you know, I'm sure this was really scary for you to post, but I just want you to know that maybe the Lord is taking you through this for a reason, and you don't have to wait till the very last second when everything's all good to tell people that it happened. You can walk people through it too. And so I'm not going to spill my guts on everything. I'm a big advocate for heal then share. You don't want to be bleeding all over everybody because that's really messy. And there's a certain level of vulnerability that not everybody should get to see from you. Like, vulnerability is a privilege, and you decide who gets to see like those really vulnerable parts of you. That's not for social media all the time, you know? But I do want to talk about some of the things that I've been struggling with, but start it now because I think that there's going to be something really beautiful and amazing that comes out of this. If you don't know me or you don't follow me or any of my ministry work that I do, my big thing is this idea of being worthy of love. Because a lot of times in my life, I've turned away from good things or things that the Lord has placed in my life because I believe that I'm undeserving of them. And a big part of my ministry is to teach, especially young girls and young women, that you are worthy of love because of what Jesus did on the cross. That act of Him dying for you because He loves you is Him saying you're worth it, you are enough. But it's only because of His grace. And so my main struggle with this whole season right now of struggling and feeling a lot of hurt and anger and unforgiveness has been understanding that I believe that God is fully capable of healing people of these things, that He is fully capable and strong enough to get us through absolutely any of our ugliest seasons or fears or trauma or whatever that is. My issue is that I rarely believe that the Lord will do it for me. I think He'll do it for lots of other people, and I get excited for them and I believe it for them, but when it comes to me, I like put my head down and I'm like, no, that's for somebody else. And I don't want to sound like I've had the worst life in the world. I haven't. I've had so many amazing privileges just with my family and where I've lived, and like the Lord has blessed me abundantly, and I'm so grateful. But there's still a lot of hurt in my heart. I'm always the person who's thinking, what if this doesn't happen? What if He doesn't come through? What if He doesn't answer this prayer? And I'm having to learn, like, you'll still be okay. It's still gonna be okay. He's still gonna take care of you. He's still good. He's still faithful. I can tell myself I believe those things sometimes I just don't believe them. And especially with my platform, that makes me feel like a terrible Christian. I feel like the worst example ever. I feel like no one deserves to follow me. I feel like, you know, I have this little platform and that I should be like embarrassed for having it. So last night I was hanging out with my friend Daisy. I love her so much. She helped me clean my room because I'm doing a vlog, which is like my whole room makeover. And, you know, we just hung out for a long time. We talk about everything. And by the end of the night, I'm not exactly sure what came over me. I think it was the Holy Spirit just bringing this thing into the light. And I responded to her with something that I had never said out loud to anyone other than my sister, which was recent. And maybe I'll be able to share that thing later on, but right now, for the sake of my healing process and vulnerability, like, I'm gonna choose to wait. But she was just kind of in shock from things like us talking about sex and how God designed sex, and like we just literally talk about everything she's talking about. And I'm like, well, honestly, if you ask me, that's not how I view sex. I don't view it as romantic. I view it as power, and I view it as really corrupt in a lot of ways. And again, she was just kind of like, okay, I kind of knew this about you. I didn't realize how like much you believe this though. All the way to things like the way that I was talking about the male species in general, just very negatively and harshly and just really aggressively. I don't have another word for it. And she was like, Briana, you don't actually believe this, do you? And I'm like, no, I believe somewhere in a fairy tale world, like, these perfect men exist, but not in my world. Like, I don't believe that I would ever get to meet someone like that, or let alone marry someone like that. There are just a lot of views that I have in my entire life that are very damaging, not just to myself, but to like the people around me. The way that I speak negatively about men in front of my brothers affects them. The way that I continue to talk about sexuality and sex to myself is affecting the way that I view not just myself but other people. I just have such a damaged lens of a lot of things, and I know that it's impacting my relationship with other people, my future relationships, like my future marriage, and specifically God. And I've told myself for so long, like, well, I'm not getting married for a long time, so I won't deal with this right now. Like, I'm gonna choose to be angry right now, and I'll deal with this later. You know, when it's time for me to get married or meet someone that I want to marry, then I'll start doing the work. Which wasn't me for so long. I started doing the work 3 years ago to help myself get to a better place, and I did. And then I get here 3 years later and I find out there are still people who are hurting me and doing things that break my heart. And although I may have stopped some cycles that hurt me, I feel like I still get thrown into other cycles that I didn't ask for. And that's also where a lot of my anger comes from for the Lord. Like, why does it have to be this way? This chair keeps squeaking. Okay, Daisy confronted me last night, and one of the things I love about her is she'll call you out for your crap, like, no problem. Like, anyone who has Daisy as a friend knows that she just calls you out immediately. Last night, Daisy told me, like, you need to fast because you're in a bad place right now. And it's really getting worse. So the craziest part is that this is very much like my battle and my issues to walk through. And Daisy does not have to do this at all. But she 100% is like, I'm gonna walk you through this, which is so nice. I don't deserve a friend like her. She's amazing. And she's like, I'm gonna fast with you. So this is our sticky note with the list of all the things. My handwriting's bad. So for the next 2 weeks, we're doing no secular music. She's not listening to any music, actually. I decided to go ahead and listen to worship music, though, which she said was fine because I am a worship leader and a singer, and I feel most connected through God. I feel most connected to God through worship. We agreed to not eat before 3 p.m. We're doing daily check-ins with each other to make sure we follow through. Mainly just so she makes sure I'm following through. And I decided to do no phone after 10 p.m. You know, we could have fasted social media. Unfortunately, that's my job. So the main reason I'm making this video is because I want to keep y'all updated through this and take y'all through this process. because it's gonna be difficult. So yeah, if y'all will just be praying with me during these next several weeks. And Daisy, I love you so much. Trying not to cry. And yeah, I feel better on social media. I just felt like a fraud. I know I'll get some backlash for this, but getting backlash either way. Hope you guys stay tuned into this channel, see my progress, see my other happy stuff going on in life. Vlogs with my brothers, travel things. Love you guys. Bye.